Ready.
Okay, good morning. My name is Liz Nichols and I am the SENCO at Sharnbrook Academy. This morning is just to give you some information about SEN and the SEN experience at Sharnbrook Academy and to give you some dates. So there's a few things there just on the agenda, some staffing information, some times of the school day and some relevant calendar points, SEN spaces within the school, intervention and training information, a little bit about our pledges and how I think it's a lovely addition for our students with additional needs, something about the trust, the Meridian Trust, the graduated approach with regards to SEN, one-page profile, and then some key dates. For information, I've joined the Academy very recently, just after Easter, so I'm quite new to this role, but I do have links to Sharnbrook Academy also. So the vision for Sharnbrook is to ensure that we have a department of excellence whereby all students with SEN develop their character, work towards high aspirations and achieve good outcomes that are absolutely in line with their non-SEN peers. We want to support our SEN students to overcome obstacles and support them to do that, enable for them to achieve and progress. We always go the extra mile towards this goal and we are relentless in our support for these students. We do not narrow the curriculum. We provide equal access to equally ambitious and challenging outcomes. So I'm Liz Nichols and I'm the SENCO. I've obviously very recently joined the team. I'm supported closely by the assistant SENCO, Julie Day. You can see her photo there below. Julie has worked in Bedfordshire and she has worked at Sharnbrook for many years and has a really great understanding of the setting and has been a fantastic source of knowledge for me. We have a medical needs coordinator, Mrs. Hart-Barnes. We have an HLTA in English and we have around 7 teaching assistants. We work with external agencies and are commissioned support across at least 2 local authorities. We access counselling through our school and is referred via the academy, and that there is the SENCO email. So if you have any questions prior to September, that would be a good place to start. The school functions in a different way to some other secondary settings. Your young person will have a form tutor. Our tutors are not by year group, they have students from all year groups from 7 to 10, and we have a form tutor. They have an SSA, which is a student support assistant. They are non-teaching staff members who are available throughout the day to support young people. You have a senior tutor and you have a senior leader attached to each tutor group and house. As with the SEN Code of Practice, all teachers are teachers of SEN, and that doesn't, that includes all the staff here at Sharnbrook Academy. Slide looks a little bit blurry, but hopefully you can still get the gist there. The school day. So obviously the school day starts at 8:30. And that is a tutor time till 8:50. There are 5 taught lessons a day with 2 social times, a break and a lunch time. And there is movement time scheduled into the timetable. One of the big I think fears of young people joining a big site like Sharnbrook Academy is that they're going to get lost and they're going to get in trouble for being late. Travel time is allocated in between lessons so that if students are having English in one block and they need to get to the other end of the school for science, they're not going to be penalised for being late. And I think that's one of the big sources of kind of anxiety of that transition from primary to secondary that students have. Lunch is quite late in the day. That's something that has been different to me joining a new setting. So lunch is slightly later. It's 1:25 till 2, and they have 1 lesson after lunch, period 5. You can see there the term dates. Year 7 will start on the 4th of September with year 8s and year 12. So it'll be a slightly quieter initial first day with the rest of the school starting on the 5th, but it gives our year 7s an opportunity to be on site, experience the canteen in a slightly quieter environment. You can see all of our term dates there. All of this information is available on the Sharnbrook website. We have a couple of spaces that are used for some of our key SEND students. I've put some pictures here on this slide. You've got a space there called the Hub. That is where I am actually based alongside the Assistant SENCO, Julie Day. We have intervention groups going on during form time in there. We have students where they might be withdrawn from a lesson for a variety of different reasons, and they may come and work with one of our teaching assistants in there. The picture actually is slightly out of date. We do have a sensory space within the Hub now. Obviously, it's something that we're going to try and look to improve and develop over the next couple of years. We recognise that school can be a sensory overload for some of our students. So we do have a sensory tent, we do have sensory tools and equipment that students can access with support in this space. We also have a fantastic space called the Hive. The Hive is a multi-purpose space used by a wide number of students, both with SEN and with medical needs. It's a space that is used as a classroom during lesson times. It's a breakfast club, it's a break club, it's a lunch club. It's a very well utilised space. Students working in their lesson time will be referred into that space, so it's not a drop-in space. It's a space where the SSAs and heads of house will refer students to the Hive. They will access support from Mrs. Harker Barnes and other teaching assistants who might be working with them. At break and lunchtime, it is a drop-in space. You don't have to be referred in for the break and lunch clubs. I've spent some of my breaks and lunches in there. There's Uno, there's other games that TAs will organise and run, but equally some students go in there just to sit and talk with their friends, or if they're feeling a little bit like they haven't kind of found their group of friends. Again, it's a nice place to go and get that support. And again, you know, when we talk about our transitions with specific primaries, we'll make sure that these ideas are mentioned so that you can share these with your young person. The kinds of things that we do to support our SEN students. So we have mentoring sessions, we have personal training and gym sessions. Obviously, we have an on-site gym, which is used in PE lessons, but it's also, we can use that for those specific interventions. We support with physiotherapy. Obviously, we work with lots of different professionals from the NHS with students who have physiotherapy. We look at things like Lego therapy and play therapy, time to talk, social skills, anxiety workshops. We have something called a purple card, and that is something that signifies to staff members that the young person may need time out, they may need a toilet card, and we make sure that the student has access to, the appropriate students have access to those. We have a breakfast club, there's homework clubs in the library after school. We offer some in-class support, numeracy intervention and literacy intervention. We use a programme at the moment called Rapid Reader and Reading Fluency. And obviously we have a wide variety of external services that come in and support students and support the SEN team with our provision. Staff training and CPD, we're all teachers of SEN. So all staff have received some good autism practice training. We focus heavily on the Education Endowment Fund and their 5-a-day training. We have had Thrive training. We've had some very recent updates for dyslexia training. The TAs also receive training so that their knowledge is where it needs to be. They've been part of a Maximising TA project, which is linked to Bedford Borough. They've done additional training around autism, protective behaviours, comic book conversations, and specific training around certain medical needs. And the pastoral team, in addition to all that staff training, they also have had more therapeutic training. Training is obviously happening all of the time. And as a school, we have a fantastic CPD programme, teaching and learning programme, which means that teachers are accessing quality research and reading around supporting our learners in the classroom. One of the things that I think is a fantastic part of our Sharnbrook life is pledges, and it's all about an all-round education where every child develops self-confidence, life skills skills and leadership experience. So it isn't just about our academic performance, it's about producing and helping support young people to become these confident adults in the real world. So we've developed and invested in a set of broad academy pledges, and the students are expected to complete these sort of pledges during their course at the time of school. This is more in Key Stage 3, so your Year 7 students will be very much involved in these. There are bronze, silver and gold levels. They're around participation. They are around leadership, excellence, diversity, giving, environmental and service. It's a fantastic award system which offers students a range of character building opportunities that enhance their learning and their development. And we want all of our students to participate in after school clubs, enrichment clubs as part of their pledges programme, so that they can benefit from the skills, excuse me, the light's gone off, and personal qualities that these opportunities help to develop. We have a fantastic extracurricular programme at Sharnbrook, and obviously lots of that information will be fed out to you via the website, via communications from the school. The school are very good at sharing the clubs that are available. Sharnbrook is part of the Meridian Trust, and again there's lots of information about the Meridian Trust on our website. The Meridian Trust operates using a wave system. This is similar to the wave system through the SEN Code of Practice, but it is slightly amended to suit the Meridian Trust. So you'll see on here that students are referred through the different waves using the assess, plan, do, review process. And it's a graduated approach. So some of our students will arrive and they will already be on wave 4. They will arrive with an education health care plan. And that's, as you can see there, students with special educational needs with a plan, which is a legal document setting out aspirations, needs, measurable outcomes and provision required. And we closely monitor all students with education healthcare plans using the APDER cycles, and we review the annual review paperwork annually. But you can see at the first wave, this is where students are identified as having a special educational need and or disability. This doesn't have to be a formal diagnosis. Needs there can be met through high quality teaching with reasonable adjustments. And at Sharnbrook, we use something called a one-page profile, and certain students, not all students, who are on that wave 1 would have a one-page profile, which would share strategies and thoughts around how a teacher can meet the young person's needs. Students may then, if needs are not met through high quality first teaching, which will be a small number, will move up to wave 2, and this is with some more targeted support. So this is where they're not making expected progress despite the reasonable adjustments in place at wave 1, and this will be a short-term specific intervention, 1 term maximum. So we're looking at 6 weeks. Again, assess, plan, do, review will help us to recognise whether this intervention has been successful, and whether that young person would be able to move back to wave 1 with updated one-page profile, or whether we need to start looking at long-term intervention. And if a student at Sharnbrook reaches wave 3, we would then be looking at adding them to our SEN register. And this is a longer-term intervention. And while the young person is accessing this long-term intervention, they will remain on the SEN register. Students with SEN will be placed on the register. Parents will need to consent to this, so there will be liaisons with home and carers. Evidence-based intervention coordinated and monitored by the SENCO and the assistant SENCO. Students will have individual APDR, so that's the assess, plan, do, review, with measurable outcomes and provisions stated. Students may access specialist support from outside agencies also for wave 3. So they are the 4 waves that we use at Sharnbrook, the graduated approach, and it is we assess, plan, do and review to make sure that the support is relevant, that it's having the expected impact and outcomes, and referring on if we need to specialist support. How key information is shared. So all staff have access to an individual needs register. So we use a system called SIMS at the moment. We are actually going to be changing to a new platform next year. Not initially in September, but it will be graduated approach there. And they have access to EHCP documentation. Students with wave 3 or 4 will have a one-page profile, which all staff should use as part of their classroom teaching. We have actually started to use the one-page profile for some students on wave 1 and students on wave 2. We find it's a really clear way of showing teachers what the needs are, what the quality first strategies are, what extra provision they might be doing. But also it's a great way to capture student voice, and we use the one-page profile for that. And you can see there the kinds of things that we might be asking students and staff and professionals to comment on. Every week there is a staff bulletin, and the SEN team are asked whether we would like to send out some updates. So again, it's a great way of getting some SEN information out there quickly and to the vast staff body that we have here. There are weekly briefings. We have a weekly briefing on a Thursday morning, and again, I'm involved in those briefings. Sometimes SEN might deliver the briefing, or we may just deliver part of the briefing, but we are a presence there. And there are fortnightly tutor meetings. The pastoral team and the SEN team work very, very closely to ensure that, joined up thinking. There are weekly teaching and learning briefings, and they are used to highlight strategies to support students with similar needs. Last night we had some whole school staff training around dyslexia, and these are the kinds of things that are happening throughout the school year to ensure that the strategies there are there to support students. And then on my final slide, I recognise this has probably been a very fast insight into Sharnbrook. There are some key information and dates. So as part of ensuring that your child's transition is smooth, there is an invitation for Parents Information Evening. The date that is on the website is Monday the 17th of June at 6 p.m. I know that you will obviously now be aware of if your young person is attending Sharnbrook, so you should have relevant information. In addition, all of our new Year 7 students are invited to 2 induction days here at Sharnbrook. They're scheduled in July, the 2nd and the 3rd of July. It's a fantastic experience for Year 6 students to see what Sharnbrook Academy is like. Lots of things happen on those days. There is some baseline testing so that we have information ahead of September, in addition to their SATs scores. We also do offer some more bespoke transition for students who might require a little bit more than those 2 days. And obviously we have transition meetings with all of our feeder schools where that information is shared, discussed, and appropriate plans put in place. Obviously, if I go back to the first couple of slides, there's some key contacts there. So the contact is senko@Sharnbrook Academy. So if there's something in this presentation that I haven't been able to answer or address, if you wanted to reach out, that would be the appropriate email to go to. Equally, we haven't had all of our transition meetings, so we've got lots of transition meetings booked in this half term to ensure that we get the best quality of information ahead of September. That's everything from me.